Back there, he's like
You threw us. We were waiting for the development period, so we got thrown off.
Yeah.
I walked over here early.
We're like trained dogs. Yeah.
I know.
We're trained dogs.
And listen, you got to be able to adjust.
That's
Great
right.
ones adjust.
Yeah.
So look, again, I thought another pretty good practice. We got a lot of situational work done again. We're out here a little bit less time today by design. I think our guys have been given everything they got in terms of practicing with the right type of intensity, the right type of effort, the right mindset. So we cut back, a little bit today. We'll cut back again a little bit tomorrow. And it sucks when you lose your pen, you know what I mean? Like that's your job. The great ones adjust. I like that. That was pretty cool. I saw that whole thing happening.
Next
All right, all good. Next pen up. That's right. All right. So, look. We've got some good work here. So we got another, kind of a good day of practice tomorrow, and then kind of start getting ready for San Francisco. So.
What if Lagerly went?
Back.
Hey, how do you feel about the run game so far? I know it's still early. But
Well, look, that's really kind of hard to tell. Again, we're not in live game action, tackling, all those kinds of things. I would say there was a couple of plays, and in particular, I thought the first play of the game, against Arizona looked like a real run. And yet I think there's some things that we can maybe get cleaned up there that maybe that is more than just a 5-yard run. So I think it's still kind of to be determined. I'm encouraged by some of the things I've seen in the run game. But I think it's still to be determined.
And how important is that for you and what you all want to do this year, being able to control that line of scrimmage?
Yeah, well, look, I think this. I think being able to run the football, I think, is the foundation to having a good offense. I can go back to a lot of the years that we were really good offensively here, and certainly we threw the ball well, but our most successful teams, in terms of win-loss, were able to run the football. And so I think running the football is extremely important. And certainly, if you're able to run the ball effectively, I think, that opens up some things in the play-action passing game. And so, it's something that we need to do well.
Could Fuaga play this weekend if needed, or is that a precautionary thing?
Listen, I have no idea. I mean, all I know is they took him in probably during the individual period. He had some back tightness. Looked to me like, prior to even starting practice, looked to me like he was kind of stretching his back out maybe a little bit. So I don't know if that was bothering him beforehand. So I would say this. I would say if he is a healthy body and capable of playing, then he'll play in the game. And if he's not, then he won't. But I really have no idea right now. I mean, the only thing I know is he had some back tightness.
Yeah, speaking of back tightness, I think it's worth clarifying since Alvin had missed time because of a contract issue earlier. His absence is definitely not
Zero related to contract. At least as far as I know, zero related. I mean, he's got some back tightness. This is something he's dealt with before, so I certainly wouldn't speculate in that realm.
That day for Jamal Williams, or is he dealing with it?
That day. Keep
I
going.
don't have anything.
What else you got?
Sorry. No, wait a minute.
What are your thoughts on Christian Boyd's camp so far?
A lot like most of these rookies, like a lot of good things. I see some things I'm encouraged by. I think he's a big physical player, and yet I think he's a pretty decent athlete for a guy his size. And so I see some things that I like, and then there's some fundamental and technique things that get him in trouble, and he ends up getting behind a block or something like that. And so those are all things that he has to, continue to improve on. I like his work ethic. I like that he's buying into the things that we're asking him to do. And I think he's a guy that we're counting on being able to help us this year.
Are you seeing so far what you expected from him when you maybe make the draft selection?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was a 6th-round defensive tackle, and so, like, what we saw was developmental skill set that we liked. We certainly knew we weren't getting the polished product, but we did like his size. We liked his strength, and we liked his movement skills for a guy of his size. And I'm seeing some of those things show up.
How about
So in that regard, I'd say yes.
Kevin Austin? We're seeing the catches he's making.
Yeah.
What about all the things he needs to do as a receiver? How's he doing in camp?
Well, he certainly made a couple of plays. I mean, the play he made today was an outstanding play. I mean, huge play. Certainly catches everybody's eye. I think, you know, he had to play a lot of positions in the game the other day, and I think some of the wires got a little short-circuited. So, you know, I want to see him consistently knowing what to do, how to do it, and being able to execute it at a high level. And so I like some of the splash plays that I see. And much like a lot of these young guys, you know, I want to see a little more consistency.
Is it difficult to get a read on the first team defense with so many starters out, especially in the 2-minute situation today? Obviously, it didn't go particularly great at the end for the defense. What are your thoughts?
Well, look, again, I would say I like what I'm seeing from the guys that are out there. And in particular, I like some of the things I'm seeing out of our defensive line. I think we got a big physical group up front, and more so than that, like, they have the right demeanor and they play the right way. They play a tough, aggressive style of defense, a physical style of defense, and that's what wins in our league. And so I like that, and I think that, you know, the defense starts with the front and their ability to control the line of scrimmage. And so I see some good things out of that group. Like, I thought there were some things in terms of the pass rush in that 2-minute that was really good. And so, yeah, I'm in a good spot with what I think our defense can be.
Was there a challenge to that unit in particular? I mean, it's a lot of the same guys from last year. Is there like something you challenged them with this offseason?
Well, look, I think as you see this, not necessarily those guys in particular, but our whole group defensively. I think we have a standard, and that standard's pretty freaking high. And so our expectation of how we're going to play needs to be better than it was last season. And so that's just what happens when you know, you have consistently played at a high level. The expectations are a lot more. I'm not talking about outside expectations. I'm talking about the expectations inside the building. I think all of our defense has taken to that, and they've attacked these practices with the right mindset. You know, you guys are out here at practice. I mean, there's not a lot of guys, you know, loafing around out here. There's some intent to what we're doing, and so, and I think that's what the foundation of what we built this defense on has been, and guys are, you know, getting back to that more. And look, that's on us as coaches. You know, that's the standard that, you know, we need to set, and then that goes through our, you know, veteran players to, you know, hold each other accountable to you know, play into that standard.
How big is this game just for guys battling for roster spots this second preseason?
Well, look, I think they're all important for a lot of these guys. You know, so I mean, look, obviously, you know, we're playing a team that's has been over the last, few years, and is again another one of those teams that a lot of people are talking about as a contending team, and so it gives us an opportunity to kind of measure up a little bit, and yet I have no idea what their starting lineups are going to look like, and but we'll put 11 out there. I'm sure they will too, and we'll go play some football.
Yeah, do you have you talked at all about the usage of Alvin this year? I mean, does he have a magic number at all touches, or is he?
No, I wouldn't say that that's been something that we've, had discussions about how we use him, things we can do with him. Those have been discussions, but in terms of touches or anything like that, we haven't discussed that.
And how important will Taysom be factor into that running game?
Well, I think he's going to factor into a lot of aspects of what we're doing offensively. I think he's a good weapon for us to be able to utilize, and so we'll have to find what ways we can put him in the best position to, help us play good offense and help us win games. And so I think both of those players that you mentioned are going to be, key components to our offense.
With the pads off, just managing kind of the workload midway through.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then,
This would have been the third day in a row in pads. So, and part of that is, these guys have been practicing, and so, I felt like that was something that, to kind of take the load off of them a little bit.
there was that moment in practice. You kind of told the guys on offense to stop worrying about the refs. Basically, is that something that you feel like maybe needs to get under control? Was that a problem last season, or was it just kind of heat of the moment thing?
No, it's just, look, here's the deal. We don't. Let's worry about the things that we can control. Okay, let's don't put things in other people's hands. Let's don't expect the opposing team to make mistakes and allow us. Let's go out and take control of ourselves. And so, I certainly don't spend a lot of time worrying about, what calls we get or don't get. Let's go on to the next play. That's the one we have control over. That's the play that we can affect. And so, when we start worrying about things that are out of our control, then we lose our ability to affect change. And so, I'm not about putting it into somebody else's hands. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good to hear that.
All right. So first off, what kind of attracted you to New Orleans when the opportunity came up?
I love the South. That was the first thing. I came on a 30 visit here, so I was familiar with the staff and how we were going to do things, so that was probably the two biggest things.
So the 30 visit really kind of helped to establish a bit of a foundation for you?
Absolutely.
What you feel you learned during that visit?
You learn some of the scheme. Some of the schemes that I ran in college, we run here, so it's easy transition. And then just the coaching staff, how they treat people, the plan that they have, articulating the plan, and putting you in a position to execute it. So those are the main reasons.
Did you feel that you fit well into what it is that New Orleans does do in terms of the scheme?
Yes, I do.
There's a little bit of overlap.
Yes, I do. We play a lot of press man. We want to get in people's faces and compete. I think that's something that I like to do.
What's been the toughest adjustment, technically?
Honestly, at this point, because I played at 4 schools in college, and coming from the Patriots, which is another complex system, at this point it's just football. So really, as far as the technical side, just getting the terminology down is the difficult part, but coming out here and executing the techniques with how many different schools and type of playing styles I've had to play for, that's actually was kind of the smooth part.
Yeah, when you were at Kilgore back in 2017,
Yeah.
did you think that the NFL was a real possibility? At what point did that kind of start to become real for you?
In my head, it's always been real,
Yeah.
which is why I think I'm standing right here in front of you. But at the end of the day, it's a day-by-day thing, and nothing's guaranteed, so I'm worried about that part.
Where were you when you got the phone call about coming here? What were you doing?
I was actually at my uncle's house, sitting there on the couch to the very left. I see my agents calling me, and I just already knew what it was. And he said the Saints wanted to work out, and they want to fly you out today. And I went to DFW, literally right then and there. Packed, didn't even have any really laundry left. I only had about 3 outfits to go. Put 3 outfits in the bag, and just got to the DFW and flew out here.
And then, what were you just like kind of training during that time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just back home training at my high school.
Yeah. You got any more outfits?
Not yet, but that's probably something I should ask for, though.
Anything else? All right, thanks, guys.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a nice day.
Thank you.
Get something else.
Make the boot part of the red zone package for you?
I thought it looked pretty good. No, Clint it was third and goal from the 1, and we were running power, and that backside edge on 3rd and 1, and the low red area is probably going to collapse, and me and Clint were kind of on the headset in the huddle. You feel like that edge is closing down, and you feel like it's tight pre-snap. Give a really good fake and get to the front pylon.
Is that something you don't tell the running backs?
I didn't tell anybody. Yeah. I kind of just was like in my mind, this is what we're gonna do, and at that point, it's all on you. Get in or you don't.
Jake, I know you obviously went through the proper procedures, but was there any doubt in your mind that you wouldn't be back at practice right after the procedure?
Yeah. So the doctor, obviously everything. She did a great job, Dr. Sharma. She did a great job. Had a 2-centimeter hold, had to go a little deeper. Everything's taken care of, but she put 32 stitches, as I was telling Nick the other day, in my cheek, and just basically wanted to sew it a little tighter. She didn't want me to practice Wednesday through Friday, just because she thought if I had too much blood flow or my heart rate got too high, my stitches would kind of burst, and it's a whole nother nightmare you're dealing with. So she looked at me and told me that I wasn't gonna be able to practice, and I looked at her, and she put a couple extra in there, and put some steri strips on for the game, and made it happen. It's a long way from my heart.
How does it feel at this point?
It feels great. I think it's, 10, 11 days from when she did it. Feels great. It's a little sore still. I'm doing some laser and stuff on it just to try to help the wound heal a little faster, but other than that, I'll have a little scar there, and hopefully it fades over time, but just trying to take care of it and just close it up, and off away we go.
Where do you feel like you've made the most progress this summer?
I was telling Nick earlier, I feel like diagnosing what's happening and how I need to process things. I feel like when you get more and more comfortable in the system, in the protections, what the offensive line is making in protection, you start seeing things a little faster, and you can get to your progression a little quicker. I feel like the people we have down here that have been taking care of me have been really doing a good job of keeping my arm, where it needs to be. Doc Ray's been doing a really good job. I feel, twitchy. My arm feels loose. I feel like I've been throwing it more accurate. And I think one thing I'll credit Janoko here. My feet feel so much more controlled. I feel like my feet are twitchy, and sometimes I'd get outside of my framework. But I feel like my feet are within the progression, within the timing, within the rhythm of this offense. And when you diagnose it, you get on task faster. You're accurate.
He's listened to your feet.
He's listened to your feet. He is an awesome dude. He brings great energy every single day, no matter what. And he has really pushed me on that. And I give him a ton of credit for the way he's handled it and the way he's pushed me. Sometimes you're not going to love it all the time, but that's what great coaches do. They tell you everything you need. And he's done a great job of harping it on me, and I feel like we've listened to it and we've made some progress.
The amount of movement that you guys do as a quarterback group, in the moves and rollouts.
Yeah.
What do you think of that in this offense? And how does it help you?
Yeah, just as far as how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I feel like for me that kind of fits what I do, right? Like I like to And I think also it helps the offensive line. Changing the launch point, not having stagnant sets for them, keeping us in the A gap, the B gap, moving us outside of the pocket, quick game, firm sets, like you name it, we're doing it. And I think that really keeps the defense off balance. And I think, when we show up in the regular season, you guys will start to see more of that. I think it's for me, it just kind of fits what I can do as a player. Love play action pass, love getting on the perimeter. Feel like throwing on the run is my strength, and then obviously going through pure progression. Especially as a young player, you go through pure progression offense. You might not always know what the picture looks like, but if you're going through a pure progression, you just throw it to the open guy. It's a little easier said than done, but it helps us process things.
And then, we obviously talked a lot about what Clint has done, teaching all the offense and harping on the details. But like, when you had him in your ear as a play caller, what was kind of your impression of him?
Yeah, I thought he handles himself with poise. He's never too high, never too low. And the biggest thing I will say, credit to him and credit to the staff, when they showed up and when we got here in April, we've probably gone through that entire install, 6 heavy install pages or packets, probably gone through it 6 times, 7 times. So I've heard it six times by now. So I feel so comfortable, or light years ahead of where I was in the spring, and just can feel like I can go out and operate and do things at a high level.
Look forward to going back to the Bay Area.
I'm looking forward to go back to the Bay, but I told Aaron I am fired up to get back to Louisiana. I was telling Derek too. Feels like I haven't been there in 2 or 3 months. Go be, back in front of the fans. Have a couple open practices. Have them feel the energy and what this offense can bring, and just let them know we appreciate them, right? And let them know that we're excited to be back, excited to go win some games.
Jake, it feels like it's 118 today.
Wow. Well, I went to Fresno. Fresno State, probably 110, 112.
It's a drive.
Yeah, it's all right. A little heat. Adversity is good for you. It only makes you better. Anyone else?
Thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Jake.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
You're not going to take that statement back now?
What?
How are you doing?
Doing good.
Was it, in the end it ended up being a short time, but did it feel like forever, waiting to get back out there?
Yeah, it always feels like a long time just sitting, not being able to do the thing I love doing. So I'm just glad to be back on the field with my brothers, for sure.
Was that something that developed in practice, or you're dealing with a shin injury, correct?
Yeah, I was dealing with a shin injury. Yeah, it's just something I just stepped wrong in practice, a little tweak. Got with my trainers, my dog Santiago, that's my dog, we was in there every day. And we just got it in. Now I'm back on the field, being able to compete.
And those are the best glasses in the history of camp.
Nah, these ain't prescription.
When you're dealing with an injury, like you're trying to make the roster, like what's kind of going through your mind as you're kind of trying to rehab and get back as soon as you can?
Really, the main thing is I just got to control what I can control. Stay on top of everything I can mentally, as in the plays, technique and assignment, stuff like that, and then do everything I said like I could in rehab, as far as like leg exercises, Normatec, Hivamat, stuff like that. Just staying on top of things, just taking care of what I can take care of, control what I can control, and you feel me, like do what I can to get back on the field as fast as possible, really.
How nice was it to make that play? I know you want to make plays
too
today.
Oh, it was. I love making plays. Like that's the only thing I come out here for is to compete with my brothers. I love the game of football. So me just being able to go out there and play is just a blessing. So me being able to go out there and make that play, contested play, touchdown, that's exciting. That's what I play the game for.
Yeah, I think the last time we talked to you was rookie minicamp.
Yeah.
So what have you seen from Spencer from that time to now, having gotten a chance to work with him?
Hey, that boy's good. Whenever he gets an opportunity, you're gonna see what I see, because that boy is special. He got a special arm. I believe he's gonna be a great pro.
For your touchdown, did you have to kind of were you flat out on the ground when you caught it, or you caught it then went to the ground?
Yeah, I had to it was more like a sliding catch. Like I seen that it was gonna be a low ball, and because of where I was at, I couldn't wait on the ball. I had to go basically attack the ball, but how I was attacking it, I had to slide under it really. Just had to make the play. However the ball's thrown, I'm gonna adjust to it and go get it. That's my job. So you feel me? I had to make the play. Thank y'all. Y'all have a great one.
Thank you, both.
You haven't been around here for a while. Like, it's kind of nice getting like just where you're playing in one scheme and just kind of know what you're kind of responsible for out there. I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably going to my third year in this scheme with DA and the guys, and I absolutely love it. So it's definitely good to know a scheme. You get to start to learn where your weaknesses are. You can start to learn what other people are doing, where you can take your shots and chances versus where you have to, kind of settle in and just hold it down, just like the strengths and weaknesses are. You don't have to worry about messing up as much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just go make plays, play faster.
And what do you think of just the performance of the defensive line as a whole this camp? It seems like Dennis kind of brought up that he's been pleased with what he's seen, and how do you think y'all kind of bounce back from last year?
I think we have even a little bit more juice than last year. I think we all recognize that last year wasn't good enough from a defensive line standpoint. We have a really great group of guys. We all pick each other up and hold each other accountable. So I think our camp's been going really well, and I think we've really harped on bringing that intensity every day and just knowing we got to raise the bar and kind of carry the torch of the team. So, like I said, like guys like Cam and Chase, Carl, Peyton, they all are lead by example. So those are great guys to follow.
How big is this game for you? Just what you kind of battled that roster spot. How big is this game for you?
It's big. I think they're all big for a guy like me. You can't just be like a one and done type of guy. I think they're all important. So I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to the opportunity. Just going off last game, I thought I had a strong first game, but I just like to build off that and continue to show that I'm a capable and reliable guy.
Did they call it holding in the film review?
Yeah, they did. But like that's part of the game. You're not always going to get the calls. You can't really bank on that. So I learned. We fixed it. Just it's fine. It happens. But just keep playing on. I think I was proud of how I bounced back the next series and was able to start building up some plays together. So I was really proud of that. I figured played like adversity. You're going to face adversity, and sometimes things aren't going to go your way. So yeah, it definitely was holding.
You had a really good summer last year, but what did you want to do? What did you want to improve on this summer? Or what was high on the list of adding to your repertoire?
Finishing on the edges, on the top of my rushes, and just getting more knockback in the run game. I think a lot of guys in my position, but most importantly me, have this tendency to kind of just knock back, extend, and peek and stand up. And when you do that bad habit, you lose your leverage, and the offensive lineman can start to push you back. But if you get good 3-4 yard knockback every time, it kind of sets yourself up for not having to worry about two gapping or anything like that. So it's definitely helped me here in camp. I'm definitely looking forward to putting that more on game film.
How has Chase kind of added to that juice you were talking about?
Great. He's been a great addition. He brings a great swagger to us. I think he's a great, really good pass rusher. Dude had a sack in the Super Bowl. Not many people can say that. And he brings a different kind of idea to the way we attacked our pass rushes. So he brings a lot of juice, and he's just a great dude to talk to and be around. He's not a guy who thinks he's too much or better than anyone else. He works just as hard as us, and he fits right in.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by a different idea?
So, for us, we always thought about shoulder turn and get off. Chase is a little bit, I'd say, different in the sense of he's athletic enough to think, well, if you're always pressing a certain way, tackles will react to that, and so you can use that to counter it. So for me, I like to think I'm just a power guy, so I'm going to set up power. He's like, look, you set this up, but if you fake power one way, he'll overplay you and come underneath. And I've oversimplified that example, but just things like that to try and open up the ideas of the way we attack pass rush. Just giving you another opinion or another angle to look at it.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Good.